you should know that I am recording this class, and this is the advanced class. When the class is over, I'll ask if you would like me to email you the copy of the class that you just attended, and you can let me know if you want that. This, as the advanced class, we're going to be focusing on parts of the software that most people are unfamiliar with. And what I mean by that is these are people who are used to using the software. They're doing all of the basic things. They're booking appointments, they're processing sales, they're running reports, etc. But there are a lot of pieces to the software that people just don't even know about. Now, we've got different classes, like the Darcy marketing class, and because of that, we're not going to very much talk about Darcy in this class. And the online store, again, something that we won't speak much of in this class because they have their own classes assigned to them. But again, we're going to be talking about just little pieces of the software that most people just don't even know exist, or even if they know they exist, they don't know enough about them to use them properly. So the first thing that we're going to talk about in the advanced class is emailing staff. Now, there's several different ways that you can do that. With the Darcy system, Darcy can do things like, let's go into our staff file here. Darcy can send them notifications whenever you book, unbook, or reschedule for them. She can send them their schedule every night for their following day. She can even send them a report every night showing them what credit they received that day. I mean, what services or products they sold that day that they received credit for. So she can do things like that, but that's not what we're talking about here. What I'm talking about is this button that says message. I can click this button and type in a subject, type in a message, and hit send, and off it will go to my staff member. I can also hit this button that says select all, and it will then pull up all of the staff members whose emails you have. Again, you can type in a subject and a message, and now this is going to go out company-wide. So it could be something like, don't forget about Friday's company meeting at 12 o'clock, or whatever it may be. So you can send direct messages using this message button in the employee file. Also, in the appointment book, I can right-click on any one of my staff and select email, and it'll do the same thing. Type in a subject, type in a message, and hit send, and that staff member will receive that email. Again, hit select all, and now I can send an email to everybody on my staff that I have emails for. And we'll exit out of that. So that's contacting staff via email, but you can also email your customers. In the client files, as you probably already know, you have an email address field. If you have their email in this address field, then you can go to the message button. And again, just like you did with your staff member, type in a subject and a message and hit send. Now, this isn't normally for marketing because we have other areas for marketing, and you'll learn all about them in the Darcy marketing class. But we have other areas for marketing where you're actually marketing to your customers. This is a one-on-one direct message to the customer, and in this respect, you could say something like, hey, you forgot your glasses, or you know, we see that your next appointment is scheduled for such and such, and so-and-so is going to be out that day. Do you mind? So it's a direct message to just this one person. And notice there is no select all. It is just for this customer. Now, the difference really between sending a message to your staff and sending a message to your customers through the software, when your customer receives it, it will have your logo on it, and it will have your social networking icons on it. It's a very good-looking email. However, when your staff receives it, it is just the words themselves. There's no logo. There's no social networking icons or anything like that. It's just a message you're sending to the staff. So the client email looks quite a bit better than the staff email. Okay? Any questions on that before I continue?
No.
Okay. All right, the next thing that we're going to be talking about is the activity button in inventory. Every product that we have has a button that says activity. So every product in your system has this activity button. A lot of people are not familiar with this. We click on activity, and this is going to show us everything that we ever did with this product. And what I mean by everything that we ever did, I'm talking about down here. Received means that you created a purchase order for this product, and you received that PO so that you were able to upload your quantities. In other words, the PO is filled. Sales only. These are the sales that you've done that include this product. So every time you sold this product, that's what's there. And then returns, any merchandise returns that were done on this, and any manual adjustments that you did to the numbers to your ending quantity on hand. And all has all of it. So if I click received only, these are just the POs. Sale only, these are all of the sales we did. Returns only, these are any merchandise returns that were done, and adjustments only, these were any manual adjustments that were done. Now you might notice that some of them, under where it says by whom, have names and or question marks. Like this one says that a physical count adjustment was done by Abigail on September 9th of 2008, as well as a physical count adjustment was done by Debbie on September 2nd of 2010. However, on April 3rd, 2017, I've got a question mark. If you are using password protection, the software knows who did it, and therefore it can put a name in. If your password protection is not being used, it'll give you a question mark. So in this case, any merchandise returns that were done, I had no password protection on that, therefore question marks. Sales that were done, I had password protection on this day, and so I've got Debbie. And all of these others, I didn't. And the reason for that is because when I do demonstrations, I don't have my passwords turned on, so I'm not constantly having to put in passwords as I'm teaching people the software. So that's why mine has mostly question marks. Yours may very well have nothing but names. And again, that's what that question mark or the name means under by whom. That is our activity button in inventory. Any questions on that before I continue?
Nope.
All right, excuse me. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is the month view screen. Now, we've already addressed the day view screen, which is everybody that's working on a particular day, and of course the week view screen, which is going to allow you to see any particular staff member's appointment book for today plus 2 weeks. But we also have something called the month view screen. Now, it's a little bit different than both of those, and not just because it shows a month. It works differently. So you can get to it from a lot of different places in the software. From the appointment book, I can click on month view, and there's my month view window. If I was in the main menu, cancel that. If I was in the main menu, I could go to appointments and select month view, and there it is again. And if I'm in sales, I can go to book appointments and choose month view, and there it is again. So what is it? How does it work? I'm going to select appointments, month view. There's my window. Now, I happen to be in the month of July, so it defaults to that month, July 2017. And any days that have already passed are going to be reduced in size. So I've got 1 through 4 here. On the 5th, which is today, it's italicized. So whatever your current day is, that's going to be the italics date. And then any date that is highlighted black is a date that an appointment can be booked. So simply by looking at this, I can see that from the 5th to the 31st, I can book any appointment, an appointment, on any of these days, but Sundays. Sundays are grayed out because I'm closed on Sundays, so it's grayed out. Okay, so I've got my basic information there. Then I can choose a staff member, like for instance, Ashley. Notice what happens when I chose Ashley. All Wednesdays and Thursdays of that month have just grayed out, and that's because she doesn't work on those days. Also, now, while these days didn't gray out, say the 14th and the 15th, they may have. Why might that have grayed out? Well, it may be because the system didn't know who I was looking at, so it gave me those days. But when I chose Ashley, it looked at Ashley's schedule, and maybe her appointment book was completely booked on the 14th and the 15th. Well, if that's the case, then those days also would have grayed out because she doesn't have space for an appointment. Then I can choose a service, like, for instance, a Skinner 90. Now, when I choose a service, other days may have grayed out. Again, maybe on the 14th, she had availabilities that were a half hour long, 45 minutes long, an hour, maybe even an hour and 15 minutes long. But my Skinner 90 is a full hour and 30 minutes. If she does not have a full hour and 30 minutes available on a particular day, then that day will gray out as well. Again, once you choose your operator and your service, you'll be left in black with only the days that that service can be performed. And if I were to choose an additional service, now this is a full 2 hours, other days may have grayed out as well, or not, entirely up to you. Now, let's say, for instance, that the 14th is available, and so I say, okay, let's take a look at what times are available on that day, or the 7th, for instance. So I'll choose the 7th, actually, and it shows me the available times that this appointment could be booked. Now, there may only be 1 or 2 available times. They may be a whole bunch like I've got here because mine is wide open because I'm using sample data. But depending on however many you have there, those are going to be the options that you can tell your customer. So if they say, I want to come in on the 14th, you click the 14th and you say, okay, when would you like to come in? Because now I've got a whole bunch of times available. But if I had chosen a day where that wasn't the case, Maybe I only had 2 or 3 times available. I could have said, well, she could see you at 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Those are the only times available if those were the only times showing. So if the customer likes one of those times, let's say 12 o'clock, so I'll choose 12 o'clock, and now I can choose my customer, whoever they are. I'll go with Amanda Dolly here, and I could have chosen a brand new customer if I wanted to, but I chose somebody that was currently in my database. Choose my client type, just like I do anytime I book an appointment. I'll say that she asked for Ashley. So now I'm saying that I'm booking a Skinner 90 with Ashley on Friday, July 14th of 2017 for Amanda Dolly. So I can hit book it. The appointment has been booked. So let's take a look, shall we? We'll go into our appointment book. We'll go to the 14th, and we'll take a look at Ashley's schedule, which is going to be off screen here. There's Ashley, and there's Amanda Dolly for a Skinner 90 at 12 o'clock on the 14th. So the appointment booked just fine, okay? So again, that's the month view screen. Now you might say, well, you know, I'm already booking appointments on the day view screen and it's easy, or I book appointments on the week view screen, I've got no problems there. I really don't need the month view screen. You may find, especially as you start to get a busier and busier appointment book, you may find that the month view screen is actually the fastest way to book an appointment because it just leaves you with the days that it could be booked and it gives you the available times, and you just then book it the way you would normally. Any questions on the month view before I continue?
No.
Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is locking and unlocking columns. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to grab a group here. Let's go with nails. And you'll notice I've got Kathy, Maureen, Michelle, Melinda, Leslie, and Anna. These are my nail technicians. But when I choose waxing, I don't have Anna. She's not in my waxing group. So when I go from one group to another, it changes the people that are going to be on my screen, which you're probably already familiar with. But what if I need to see somebody's schedule, but I know I'm about to jump to a group that they don't belong in, so I'm going to lose their schedule. So I'm going to go back to nails here, and I'm going to right-click on Anna, and I'm going to select Lock Column. Now, any group I go to, and we know she doesn't work in waxing, but I'm going to choose it anyway. Any group I go to, Anna is going to come along with me. This does not mean that Anna suddenly works in that group. Not at all. In fact, if I tried to book a waxing appointment with Anna, it would tell me that this staff member does not provide this service and the appointment cannot be booked. What it's letting me do is simply see her schedule while I'm in a group that she does not perform in. When I'm done, I can select Unlock, and Anna's vanished. Any columns that I have locked will disappear. They will follow me to any group I go to until I hit Unlock. And you can lock multiple columns. It does not have to just be one person like I just did. Any questions on locking and unlocking columns before I continue? Okay, I'm going to take by your sounds. The answer is no. So the next thing we're going to talk about is refunds. Now, everybody's familiar with refunds in the point of sale, and that's fine. But what a lot of people are not familiar with are the different things that you can do with refunds or exactly how it works. So for instance, let's say that Tersa here saw Debbie. She got an anti-curl with haircut for $170. Now I'm going to click this button over here that says refund. It went from gray and an X to blue and a plus sign. Does that turn this into a refund? Absolutely not, because this was pulled up while this was a sale. So refund was off when this was pulled up. So this is still a sale, even though I have now clicked on my refund button. What I've done by clicking on my refund button is said that anything I now add to this ticket will be a refund. So for instance, she would like to return the Justin All-in-One shampoo that she bought from Christian. So now that's a refund. Now she owes me $147.06. Now I can also then take it off and say she's going to buy the BioSilver Classic Ion brush for $36. So now that's a sale. And I'm going to go back to refund and say that she got a bang trim the last time she was here. Everything was fine. She went home, took a look at herself in the mirror, and called you and said, you know what, the bang trim's a little oblong, doesn't look right. I want to come back and get it fixed. And you say, don't worry about it. When you come back in, we'll refund you for your bang trim. So I could then go to service and say perhaps that it was Debbie that gave her the bang trim. And that is a refund because this was highlighted. Again, take it off, add another service. While she was there, she also saw Angie. No, Angie doesn't offer services, so that's a bad choice. We'll say she also saw Abigail and got a blow dry. So that's a sale. Again, mixing and matching refunds and sales right on the same ticket simply by clicking this or not. Now, if this is a positive number, like this is $213.39, and I go to payment, I can accept payment in any manner I want because it's a positive amount. She owes me money. However, what if it wasn't a positive amount? What if a customer came in like Donna here and all she wanted to do was return the Justin All-in-One shampoo because she read the instructions, the ingredients, and saw that she was allergic to one of them. So she returns it to you unopened, and it's a negative amount. So when I go to payment, I still need to process a payment for the negative amount, even if it's going to be cash, if I'm going to give her cash back. By selecting cash, negative $22.94, pop open my drawer, give her the $22.94, my drawer is now aware that this transaction has occurred, so it knows it's $22.94 less than it normally would have been. So your reporting, your closing reporting is accurate. So even if it's a negative amount, you still have to process the transaction. If it was a credit card, if you're processing directly through the software, it's going to look like this, but you're still going to process a negative amount. This way, the money is going to get put back on their card. If you are not processing directly through our software, then you can put the money back on the card that she gave you last time to use through your separate terminal, but you're still going to keep a track of it here, again, so that your reporting is accurate. So whether it's a positive amount or a negative amount, you are still going to process the transaction. Any questions on that before I continue?
No, I'm all set.
All right. Okay, so then the next thing that we're going to be talking about is paid ins and paid outs. Now, paid ins and paid outs are an important part of closing your drawer. When closing a drawer, the first thing we do is we go to register, and then we select close. And the closing wizard should come up. When that closing wizard comes up, it tells us to make sure that we have posted any paid ins or paid outs that may not have already been entered. If we've already entered them, fine, we don't have to worry about it. We can just go to continue and continue on with our closing. However, you might say, oh no, I need to put in a paid in or paid out so that my closing is accurate. So what exactly is a paid in and a paid out? You may never use them. It may never happen. Then again, it may happen all the time. So you need to know what they are and how they work so that your drawer is not short or over. So let's say that I am the front desk person and Tiffany is the boss. And I am a brand new front desk person. I'm fresh out of high school. I'm 18 years old. I got to keep this job. And so I'm going to do anything that Tiffany tells me to do. So Tiffany walks up to the front desk and she says, hey, Matt, give me $20 out of the till. I'm going to go get coffee. We're having a meeting and I'm going to get coffee for everybody before we do the meeting. And you say, sure. So you pop open the drawer, you pull out that $20 and you hand it to Tiffany and off she goes. Well, guess what? If I don't have a record of that, then my drawer is going to be short $20 at the end of the day, and I don't want that. Nobody wants that. So I'm going to go to register, and I'm going to select paid outs. And so then I could put in something like boss coffee, $20, and I can print out a receipt so I have a record of it, or I can just post it, or I can post and open the drawer. By doing this, I have created a transaction showing that $20 has left, and I've given it a brief description as to why it has left the drawer. So now I'm not going to be short $20. I'll exit that. Now, let's say a couple of days go by, and Tiffany walks back up to me, and she says, here, Matt, here's that $20 I took out of the drawer the other day. Get it back in there. Okay. So I'm going to stick that $20 back in the drawer. Well, if I don't have a record of it, my drawer is going to be over $20. So I go to register and I go to paid ins this time, and I might say something like a boss paid back coffee money, $20, and post it and stick it in the drawer. Now I've got a record. So my drawer does not show that I'm over $20 because it knows that $20 additional dollars came in, rather than just doing my count and saying, why do I have $20 more than I should? Does that make sense? All right, I'm going to take by your silence that the answer is yes. That is paid ins and paid outs. Any questions on that before I continue?
Nope.
All right. Tiffany, you are easy. No questions. All right, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is transaction notes. Again, we're going to play the game where I am the front desk person. And Tiffany is an important person at the salon, and she walks up to me and says, I'm not going to say it's Tiffany, though. I'm going to say it's Debbie. Debbie walks up to me and she says, you know, I did an anti-curl with Tersa, and I just left the chemical in a little bit too long, and her hair has frizzed. Now, I've told her how to fix that when she gets home, but I also told her I'm going to give her $50 off. Okay. So I can apply a discount, or I can just modify the price. Let's modify the price. I'll highlight it, select modify, $120. So now it's $120 she owes me instead of $170. Now, a couple of weeks go by, and Debbie is going to look at her commission report that the boss gave her, and she's going to absolutely scream that she is getting commission for $120 when she should have gotten commission for $170. Why? Because Debbie's got a terrible memory. Now, I have done hundreds of transactions since that time, and when the boss comes up to me and says, why is this $120 instead of $170? I better have an answer, especially if the customer paid in cash. It might look like I did something hinky. So knowing that Debbie is this way and that she has a terrible memory, and knowing that I am not going to remember this type of thing a couple of weeks from now after I've done hundreds and hundreds of transactions, I'm going to go to notes, and I'm going to say, Debbie said 50 off because blah, 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 and accept. I've added a note to this transaction. So now when I go ahead and accept payment, we'll just do the 120 and accept. Transaction done. Today, tomorrow, 2 weeks from now, the problem arises. And I haven't the foggiest idea what to tell the boss. So let's take a look at the client history. So I'm going to, pull up Tersa's account and go into her history. And there it is for $120. And if I highlight it, I get my note. Well, Debbie said to take 50 off because blah, blah, blah. Aha. Basically what I've done is I've covered myself. If a transaction is out of the ordinary, if it is odd for any reason, by attaching a transaction note to the transaction explaining why it's odd, you won't have to worry about situations that may create bad blood. Okay? And it doesn't always have to be a negative reason. Sometimes the boss just wants to know why you applied this coupon that was already expired, and you say, well, because the state requires us to accept coupon, whatever it is. If there is an odd transaction, attach a note to it. Any questions on that before we continue?
No.
All right. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be talking about is modifying a transaction. So we just had somebody come in, and it was my quick fingers made it 120 when it should have been 150. She only wanted $20 off, not $50 off. I already ran the transaction. Oops. So I need to fix it. So I can go into the customer's history, or I can just go back into any transaction if I know what the number is. I can type in the number, or I can go into the client's history and find it and click on it. And when I do, I will see it. Then I can press modify, and I can make changes to any transaction. So for instance, I could say something like, oops, it's not 120, it's 150. And save. Any changes I make, I must press save on the screen that change was made. Then I'll go to the other piece. She paid with cash. Well, she didn't pay 120, she paid 150. And save. And now it's a $150 instead of $120. I've adjusted the transaction, and I can do a lot more to it. Modify. It wasn't Debbie that provided the service. Maybe it was booked with Debbie, and that's why Debbie came up on my point of sale, and I processed her out. But Debbie called in sick, and it was given to Kayla. So I'm going to say Kayla did the service. So I chose Kayla's name. I press save. I can go to the other one, choose something else. Nope, don't need anybody here. And now it's Kayla that provided the service, and so she will get the commission on it. And yes, of course, you can password protect. you're modifying a transaction so that maybe only a manager can do it or only the boss can do it or something like that. Okay? Any questions on modifying a transaction before we continue?
No, not at all.
All right. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to be talking about is the points program, also known as the Loyalty or Rewards Membership Program. You can create a Loyalty Rewards Membership Program that has nothing to do with points, but you cannot create points without having a membership program. Okay, points require memberships. Memberships do not require points. How do points work? How do we set it up, et cetera? Now, there is a whole class for this that you can schedule at any time, and we can help you with it. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half to do the whole thing, set it up the way you want it set up. With our help, we'll dial into your computer, we'll do that for you. So because of that, obviously, I'm not going to go through that entire hour to an hour and a half class with you right now. I'm just going to briefly explain it to you. So the first things first, I'm going to pull up a customer like Miss Babcock. And you'll notice it says that she has 2,793 points. If my customer is in my points program, it will show however many points they have. Now, Miss Babcock came in, she saw Christian, she got an Antico with haircut, and she owes me $171. She got an automatic 5% discount, and the reason she got an automatic 5% discount is because she's a gold member, and as a gold member, she gets 5% discounts. Now, I'm going to go to payment. And she does not want to pay with cash or check or credit card or gift certificate. She would like to pay with her points. She has 2,793 of them. So I'm going to click on points. She needs 3,600 points to get the anti-curl with haircut for free. Now you can set up your points program one of two ways, either as a freebie model or as a cash back model. So I'm going to check this box. This is the cashback model. By checking this box, I've said I'm going to allow her to apply her points against what she wants. So she had 2,793. She needed 3,600. We're going to use all 2,793, and it's going to apply $132.67 against the $171 that she owes me. So she's still going to owe me about $38.33 is what she's going to owe me that she'll have to pay with cash or check or credit card, whatever. But she got a big, big discount there because she used her points. That's one way to do it. And as I said, that's called cash value. But we could also do something, you don't need to learn this now because you'll be taking, hopefully, the class if you ever want to set it up. This box that says, do not allow partial point redemptions. All right, so we're going to go to payment. She says, I'd like to use my points. Sure thing. You need 3,600. You've only got 2,793. Click and I'll let you use them. Oh, you can't. If you don't have enough points to get it for free, you can't get it at all. So that might be an opportunity for them to buy something else so they can earn more points to get that for free the next time. So freebie model, you've got to have enough points to get it for free or you can't use your points. Cash value model, they get to use their points no matter how many they have to reduce the amount that they actually owe you by a dollar amount, okay? So that's how it's used, and in the app or on their receipt, it will show how many points they have remaining for with you. How do we set it up? If I go to Setup, Preferences, General, I've got an Enable Points Program checkbox here. All I need to do is check it, and it will bring up this points program setup window. Again, it looks a little confusing, and you'll be taught how to do it. But very, very briefly, I can create an earnings ratio and a redemption ratio that I could just use blanketly. Like, for instance, if I said my earnings ratio was 1-to-1, that would mean that if you spend $1 with me, you get a point. Spend $50, you get 50 points. $100, 100 points. Really easy. And my point ratio, though, may be 10-to-1, which might mean that your redemption as 10-to-1 means that you would need 1,000 points to get a $100 service for free, or 100 points to get a $10 product for free, because I said it's 10-to-1 for my redemption, even though my earnings is 1-to-1. Okay? So I could do it blanketly like that, but I could also do it individually by group or by individual service or by categories or by individual products. So I could have, let's say, my massage group earns points 1-to-2. So if you spend $1 with me, you get 2 points. So $50 would earn you 100 points for a massage. But let's say nails is 1-to-1, and maybe hair is 3-to-1. Then our redemption ratio could be different for individual groups or services or products. So now I say if you buy this product, which is $10, it costs 50 points. But this product, which is also $10, costs 150 points. So you could do it individually as well, by service, by product, by groups of services, or even by categories of products, okay? You can even give points for things like referrals. Somebody gives you a referral, they get an automatic 2,500 points, or however it is you want to set it up. Now, once you have set up your points program, in order for a customer to use your points program, you must have a membership for them. So I'm going to go to Setup, Configuration, General, Rewards, Membership Setup. You can create an unlimited number of memberships. Now I've got a number set up here already: Gold, Silver, Platinum, Bronze, Gym, and DD Test. Let's just focus on these three: Bronze, Silver, and Gold. I'm going to start with Bronze, and I'm going to say that my Bronze membership allows customers to earn points, but gives them no other benefit, and it's free. So now I'm saying Bronze membership is free, doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is ask, and we'll sign you up. And what does it do? Well, it doesn't cost anything, so we don't have to worry about billing options. Discount options? Nope, you get no discounts for being a Bronze member. You get no discounts on services or retail. You get no complimentary services. And it does earn points, but it does not earn services. So all I've said the Bronze does is earn points, and it's free. Now, we have a Silver membership, which is $10 a month. So you want to be a Silver member, you've got to pay me $10, and every month I'm going to charge your credit card $10 again. And I've said that it gives a 2.5% discount on services. That doesn't affect my employees' commissions. And I've said that it gives a 2% discount on retail. That does not affect my employees' commission. It gives no complimentary services, but it does earn points, and it earns points at an additional ratio of 2-to-1, which means that a Bronze member spends $100, they get 100 points. They spend $150, they get 150 points. But a Silver member spends $100, they get 200 points. They spend $200, they get 400 points because they're getting 2-to-1. So they're going to earn points a lot faster than a Bronze member because that's the way I've set it up. But it does not earn any additional services. So that's my Silver membership. Then I have my Gold membership, which I said is $100 a month. And as a Gold member, you get 5% discounts on services, 5% discount on retail. You get an automatic free bang trim anytime you walk through the door. I'm going to give you a bang trim, and you will never be charged for it as long as you're a Gold member. That's just a complimentary service. You get it. I also said that the Gold membership earns points at a 3-to-1 ratio. Bronze spends 100, gets 100. Gold spends 100, gets 300. So they earn points much faster so that they can get freebies faster. Also, it earns a service every month that they're a Gold member. They get 1 free, whatever you want. All of your services will be listed, and you can choose it. Or 2 free, or 3 free, because you can change your quantity. But I'm going to say they get 1 free French manicure, which is valued at $25. And if I check this box that says earns in month of service, in month of purchase, that means that when somebody becomes a Gold member, they automatically get 1 free French manicure immediately. If I didn't do that, they would have to be a Gold member for however long the cycle is. They'd have to be a Gold member for a full month before they earn their first free French manicure. If I say services accumulate, then that means if they don't use their French manicure in September, they'll have 2 in October. And if they don't use those, they'll have 3 in November. However, if they don't accumulate, then if they don't use it in September, they'll only have 1 in October. If they don't use it in October, they'll only have 1 in September. In November. If they use it in November, they'll still only have 1 in December. It does not accumulate. It's 1 a month. And I have this one, can be redeemed towards other services. This one allows you to add a point value for this product, this service, and then they can use that against any service that they're getting. It doesn't have to be a French manicure. So they could say, okay, I'm getting $25 worth of points for a free French manicure every month, and I'm not going to use them for 4 straight months. I have accumulated, if that was checked, I had accumulated $100 worth of services. And I'm going to use that for my cut and color instead of the French manicures because I didn't use them, but they accumulate. And they get to use them towards other services. So it's entirely up to you how you want that set up, and accept. Then in order to add a customer to that system, let's pull up somebody I never use. We'll go with Natasha Jackson here. Okay, so I'm ready to sell her a service or retail or a gift certificate or whatever. Notice there's nothing up here in the square. Instead, what I'm going to do is she said, I'd like to earn points. And I said, great, we've got our 3 different points program here, or our 10 different points program, whatever you want. And she can take a look at your menu of different memberships and decide, oh, I'm just going to go with the bronze one. Okay, so I'm going to sell her a membership. And I'm going to sell her a bronze membership. Not going to add it to recurring billing, or I am, but it's 0, so it doesn't matter. And accept. Okay, she's getting a bronze rewards membership and payment. Total for this is 0. Do you want to process it anyway? Yep. She's going to give me nothing and accept. Done. The next time Miss Jackson comes in, she now has a symbol here. If you had her picture, her face would be here. If not, it's just like this, and it says 0 points. So Miss Jackson came in, she saw Christian, she got a back facial, and she saw Madison and got a Skinner 30. Whoops, I didn't do the first one. She saw Matthew as well. Da, 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 da. And she got a back facial. Well, he doesn't do them. All right. She did a blow dry. There we go. Now they're both on there. She owes me $67. We'll go to payment. She'll pay me $67 and accept. Done. Miss Jackson comes in a week later. She's got 67 points. And she sees Christian. She gets a back facial, not a bang trim. She gets a back facial for $65. We go to payment. She would like to use her points. She needs 1,300 points to get a free back facial. She's only got 67. So not enough points. But if it was cash value, then this would have been about, because she needs 1,300, 67 points is about 0.7%. She'd get about 70 cents off or less. I'm not exactly sure how much it would be. She probably doesn't want to use those points for its cash value. But she can earn points and earn points and earn points until she has enough to either get a nice discount or to get something for free. That's the points program. Any questions on that before we continue?
No.
All right. Okay, the next thing that we're going to be talking about are promotions. There are 4 different types of promotions to create in the system. Now, when people think of promotions, they think of advertising. It happens all the time. Oh, we're going to do a promotion, so we've got to advertise. We're going to, whether it's on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram, we're going to send out an email blast, or we're going to advertise in our local newspaper or on the radio, or we're just going to put a standee at the front desk, whatever it is. Every time people think of promotions, they think of advertising, and advertising is an incredibly important part of promotions. However, what we want is the software to be aware of your promotion so that our staff doesn't have to be. So what am I talking about? I'm going to go to Other. And then from Other, I've got 4 different promos: rewards promos, retail promos, service promos, and operator promos. So I'm going to select operator promos. And now I can create a promotion based on an operator or on a group of operators. I've already created one. I'll go with, let's see, there's a whole bunch I've already created. What was one of the most recent ones I've done? Maybe Melinda's? No, that's an old one. Doesn't matter. Same thing. I give it a name, like Melinda Promo. I give it effective dates from 12/1 of 16 to 12/7 of 16. Maybe I could do it just for this weekend only, blah, blah, blah. Or all of this month, whatever it may be. Then you can choose a specific group that Melinda works in, or you could go with something like all groups. And then your operators will appear, and you can put a check next to all of them that apply to this promo. Then we can choose one of our many discounts that we've created. And if we haven't, or we want a different one, we hit discount codes and create one. So let's do it. Clear? We're going to make a brand new promo, and we're going to call this promo Matthews July, and then my effective dates. are going to be from July 1st of 2017 to July 31st of 2017. So for the entire month of July for Matthew. And I can choose a specific group or all groups, and everybody appears. I could do it for multiple staff members, but no, I just want it for Matthew. And I'm going to apply a discount code that I've already created, perhaps. And I've got Matthew's second promo, Matthew's third promo. I want to create a brand new one. So I'm going to hit discount codes, and I'm going to call this the M4, and this is going to be Matthew's fourth promo. And it's going to be a dollar amount or a percentage. I'm going to say it's a percentage, say 20%. And does it discount everything on the ticket? No, just what Matthew does. Does it affect my employee's commission? No. Yes. And accept. Done. So now I can choose it because it's been created. So I go down, there's Matthew's fourth promo, that's what I'm using, and save. Anybody walks through my door and gets a service from Matthew during the month of July, they are going to get 20% off. So now I can advertise it. Hey, we just hired Matthew. He's from New York. He's wonderful at everything he does, and we're trying to get everybody to visit him. So book an appointment during the month of July with Matthew and get 20% off. Done. That is an operator promo. Other, service promo. Very, very similar. Works very much the same way, but this time it's going to be based on services. So I can create one like I did my Massage June here. And I said from June 1st of 2017 to June 30th of 2017, any service in the massage group, and I've got them all checked, is going to get, I know this is 15% off, so it's going to get 15% off because that's what I created. Same thing. But you could limit it. You could have said, if they get a massage in this month, they get 15% off, unless it's a physical therapy massage. So I uncheck that. So then I advertise and I say all of our massages, excluding physical therapy massages, are 15% off for the month of June. So now I'm doing it based on service. And exit, other, retail promos, same thing. Give it a name, give it effective dates, choose my vendor, my manufacturers, or my categories. This allows me to choose products. So let's create one. I'm going to call this my, I don't know, let's call this my shampoo discount, or call it my shampoo July. And again, my effective dates. Maybe it's just for that weekend. So I'm going to say this weekend only, July 7th to July 9th. And I choose maybe a specific vendor or all vendors, a specific manufacturer or all manufacturers, and a specific category. Well, my category is going to be shampoos. And all of my shampoos have just come up. And maybe I allow it to be for every one of them. Or maybe I say, no, not my oily hair shampoo. So I uncheck that or whatever I want. Then I can apply a discount code. Maybe one that I've already created, or create one brand new like you saw us do. So I'm just going to go with my promo discount here, which is 20% off, and save. If I do that, I can now advertise and say this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, all shampoos, 20% off. I could have made it more specific, though, when I chose my vendor, manufacturer, and category. I could have said all L'Oreal shampoos, 25% off this weekend only. All Kerastase products, 15% off this weekend only. So I can really customize it. And then my last one. This is the one that's different than all the others. This one is not a discount. This one is a factor of points. And I can do it based on services, products, or even things like referrals. So I could say something like, and I could do it by groups or categories or by individuals. So I could say something like, hey, this weekend only, all Kerastase products earn triple points. Well, let's say you're a bronze member and you spend $100 on Kerastase products. You would have normally gotten 100 points. But this weekend only, if you spend $100 on Kerastase products, you're going to get 300 points. If you're a silver member and you spend $100 on Kerastase products, you would have normally gotten 200 points. Well, this weekend only, you're going to get 600 points because it's triple if I change my factor to 3. So I give it a name, like my Mother's Points promo. I give it a factor, like 2 to 1, and then I give it my date range. I say from on May 8th to May 8th, that day only, all of these products are going to be double points. Everything I've checked, whatever it is, and now I can mark it accordingly. Okay? Any questions on promos before I continue?
No.
All right. Okay. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is emailing receipts. Now, you heard me say in one of the other classes that you can email a receipt to somebody. Let's go into a client file. Go to Ms. Babcock here. This box right here is blue, and I have her email address. That means she's going to get her receipt emailed to her automatically. If this was gray, it will automatically print the receipt. If I don't have her email address, whether this is gray or blue, she's not going to get it emailed to her. So what do? How do I make sure that this is activated and working? First, all emails in the system are controlled by Darcy. So if your Darcy system is not up and running, then you cannot email receipts to your customers. So first, make sure that your Darcy is up and running. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Darcy's part of your software. She's free. But also, what if you go into a client file and there is no email receipts button? It's already default clicked for you, so it should be there. But if for any reason it's not, you could go to Setup, Preferences, Sales Register, and under Receipts, Enable Email Receipts should be checked. And if it is, you're good to go. You can now start emailing your receipts rather than printing them. You can just ask your customers, how would you like your receipt, emailed or printed? If they say emailed, check that box in their file, accept it, and from that point forward, every transaction that they do with you will have the receipt emailed. Now, you can, let's pull up an old transaction here, duplicate receipt, last transaction. This is my last transaction. I can print out a receipt that has already been emailed, or I can email a receipt that has already been printed. So I'm not stuck to one or the other necessarily. Okay. Any questions on emailing a receipt before I continue?
No.
All right. Very briefly, I want to tell you that if you're not already following us on Facebook, I would highly recommend it. We do not use our Facebook to sell you anything. We use our Facebook to tell you what shows we're going to be at. We use our Facebook to give you tips on the software. We use our Facebook to let you know about dates that we may be closed or things like that. It's an information page. And it also gives little things like some humor and some inspirational quotes and things like that. But it's not, we're not marketing to you through it. So we're not advertising to you through it. So it's definitely something that you would want to follow because all of our customers should be following us on Facebook. If you're not, please do. That's something a lot of people are not aware of, and it's Pro Solutions Software on Facebook. Now, the other thing that I want to tell you is the live chat. This is the support button. And this allows us to speak to a technical support representative within 15 seconds of clicking that live chat button. You may have already used this in the past. You may be familiar with it or not. If you call our 800 number, our average hold time is 9 minutes. That's an average. That means sometimes you call our 800 number and you get in instantly. Other times you may be on hold for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It really depends on just how busy we are that day. And considering our average is 9 minutes, that's not so bad. We've got clients in all 50 United States, Canada, South America. We've got a handful in Europe, Africa, and Asia as well. So a 9-minute hold time is not too bad. But sometimes you've got a quick question you need answered, especially if you're trying to track somebody out and you've got a quick question before you do so. Going to live chat allows you to speak to somebody normally within 15 seconds. And that's available during our regular business hours. However, there is one thing that a lot of people are not familiar with. And that is that live chat is available to you on Saturdays for 4 hours. Where are you located, if you don't mind my asking? What part of the country are you located in, Tiffany?
United States, Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay, so you're Eastern time zone. So as an Eastern time zone, then, your free hours on Saturday would be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for live chat. I just want you to be aware of that because a lot of people don't know that live chat's available on Saturdays, and so I'm making you aware of that now. That is the class. Do you have any questions for me on anything we covered, or do you have any questions on something you were hoping I was going to cover that I didn't?
No, I'm all
All
set.
right. Would you like this class emailed to you?
Sure, you can go ahead and email it.
Oh, same email address that we did before, lucindashair@gmail.com?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, you should have that in about an hour.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure. Have an excellent day. And thank you again for taking the time. As I always say, the people who know the most about the software are the people who are happiest with it. Have a great day. Bye-bye, Tiffany.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
My pleasure.